Hello, hello, hello. We are back and we are going to rid my desk of this pile once and for all. I've been messing around in it, been using out of it, and the more I craft, the bigger the pile seems to get. So I'm going to show you a way to get rid of your scraps and use some mail at the same time. Now, this is from the union that I used to be a member of when I was working. But any mailer will do. Ranch and Home Flyers, Medicare. Gail Agostinelli, she does this in a Medicare book. I think Carrie Griffiths might be in a Medicare book as well. Not positive. I've seen people use old phone books. It's kind of up to you. Use what you've got. Chances are, if you live in the United States, you get some sort of little flyer, 5-10 page book of some sort. So this is just one way to use these books. Don't throw them away. And I'm going to try to do this in a way because I've got so many different color profiles in this pile. I'm going to try to like do a green, greens. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm not just going to stick. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to try to match them as best I can. Now, collaging kills off your glue sticks. I warn you of that straight out of the gate. If you are on your last glue stick, I do not recommend doing a collage because you will not have a glue stick when you're done. So, see, like I'm going to do greens here. So I'm going to be flipping through this book as we go. Ooh, yep, my glue stick is almost empty, so I'm going to have to get down under my table. Bottom drawer. And I'm leaving the back blank. And I do. Some people cover them so that they're ready to go. I prefer to wait because I don't know what I'm using it for. If I'm using it for a pocket, I might just only need to cover it with like a single layer of something just to give it a little bit of strength. Whereas if I'm going to use it as a tag, I'm going to use something a little thicker like a cardstock. So rather than pigeonholing myself to whatever's on the back, I usually will wait until I'm, cutting it up, cutting it up to use it to put a back on it. I do have a Dateline on my Roku. So if you're hearing some stuff in the background, that's what you're hearing. And then we got some browns. I mean, the browns and the book pages, those go anywhere. Those can go with any collage. And you can also, decide, do you want straight collages, straight pieces? Do you want torn pieces? Do you want them a mix and match of both? How do you want your piece to go? And as always, crafter's choice. Did not take long for that at all to get super goopy. Go ahead and fold that in half. Set it off to the side. So this is a long piece, so I'm going to just kind of blindly fold it boom, tear it in half. That's all I'm going to do. It's not in half. And I'm okay with that. Scanning my desk for my glue spreader. It's on my desk somewhere. So yes, with Dateline being on my TV, you're likely to hear tears and stuff like that, but you shouldn't hear anything inappropriate. Picking the ouch, that hurt. Picking the stuff up that fell on my floor and kicking a plastic tote apparently at the same time. I just found my glue spreader. It's behind my water bottle. Just caught view of it through my glass. Did I say water bottle? I think I did. It's on the other side of my glass of water. And I am drinking fluids as much as, as much as I don't want to, because water I do not like. I do not enjoy drinking water. But the reason I'm having to use my inhaler is that there's some sort of something going on in my lungs right now. And I feel like there's an elephant sitting on my chest. So drink extra fluids, try to keep keep the moisture in my lungs and stuff. Keep the moisture where it's supposed to be instead of being dehydrated. This is what I like about doing collage, is I don't have to think. Right? Don't have to think. No thinking involved. Just tear or cut. Whatever is your aesthetic. I've done all of the above. I have done all straight lines. I've done all torn lines. I've done inking. I've done non-inked. It just, I think when you're doing a collage masterboard, you kind of have to find your own, your own groove. Whew, those avocado papers are really strong. But this goal for me tonight is to clear all these papers off my desk so that I can pull up another set from the envelope down below to use in my projects. But I'm holding true to my 100-day project, and that I'm not pulling anything out, not pulling anything new out. Getting some sticky spots. It happens. Using what's on my desk was the goal. Use what's on my desk. And like I said, I'm using what's on my desk for some of the challenges, and when I come across a collage challenge, I'm like, let's look what's on my desk first before I grab something else. But I'm still finding that I'm creating more scraps as I go. And I'm like, okay, I got to get moving in the right direction here, because like I said, I was feeling like I was moving backwards. And I know I was moving backwards because my pile wasn't getting any smaller. I'm going to put this up here. Upside down, doesn't matter. Let's go over here to the purple. And I am going to trim just this little bit of white off of here. I don't mind there being black lines on there. I don't want the white edge, because then I just have to figure out how to cover it up. And if I just trim it off in the first place, then I don't have to worry about covering it. This is what's left of a gessoed book page. Okay. There goes my throat again. Pardon me. Now, anybody that has asthma will understand, when you start coughing so bad that, you almost chuck your dinner. It's what I keep experiencing. I get like this really, really intense tickle in my throat, which then makes me start coughing, which then makes me not be able to breathe. And then it all rolls downhill from there. Fortunately, I do have an appointment with my medical provider on Thursday. Not that I'm super pleased with her as my provider, but I'm stuck with her for now. There's I want to get some other colors in there first. I realize there's already glue on that, but on my last layer of glue sticks. Couple more glue sticks to use, and then I'll have to do another order. Do an Amazon order. I order these by the case because it's cheaper. Spin. Okay, let's go back to blue. This long skinny strip. Where am I going to put it? Let's put it right here. Glue's got a little bit left in it, but not much. So it has been a crazy couple of days on the YouTube streets and reality TV realms. For you 90 Day fans out there, it was reported that Michael of Angela and Michael was missing, and people have come out to say that that was a grift, it was a lie, it was a whatever, but for all intents and purposes he was actually missing. Turns out he left on his own accord. He contacted the authorities, told them that he was fearful for his life, and that he voluntarily left the home. It did seem odd that, if it was spontaneous, the fact that he left without his legal documents kind of raised some red flags, making people think that, this was not a spontaneous thing, that he'd actually planned this out, which is entirely possible. And on top of that, it's reported that he's actually with another female at the moment. So that kind of lends itself even further to the possibility that he actually planned this out. My opinion, more power to him. We've seen how abusive Angela is. Anybody that watches has seen it anyway. Was really having a hard time with the justifications that I was hearing from people, that because she didn't put hands on him, it didn't count as abuse. The yelling and the screaming and the, taking golf clubs to his car and, jumping fences and getting in his face, and none of that counted as abuse because she never laid hands on him. I'm like, that's a big back the truck up, please, for me. And I was really disappointed. There was a live that was done, and I don't know why I'm disappointed, but I am, and that some of the creators that I saw in the chat justifying the abuse just sickened me. Like, what? Now, did he go about it the right way? No. If he was in fear for his life, he could have called the police. He could have, there's so many other things he could have done besides leave the house when she was gone, leave the children there unattended, or at least one child. unattended, that was fresh out of the hospital, no less, and disappear. There's better ways he could have handled it, but then again, he's only been in the United States for 2 months. He got here 2 days before Christmas. Does he even know, you know, what resources he has available to him? Probably not. So it's like, I'm all for escaping your abuser and getting away. But he had been gone for 72 hours with no contact. So as far as, well, and again, there's speculation that it was all fake, but as far as I know, and what Angie put out there was that she didn't know, that they weren't fighting. There was no problems going on. I find it hard to believe that there was no fighting, because the two were always fighting. We saw that on TV, but that she really had no clue about why he would leave. So as far as she was concerned, in the live that I saw, he was legit missing. And so for 72 hours, he was in hiding, and all he had to do was call, he could have, even on, 24 hours, he could have called the local police department and said, hey, can you send a car out, or can you call my wife and let her know that, I've left and I'm not coming home. So I don't know. It's a whole mess. And, there's people involved that probably shouldn't be. Speculations are being made. I've heard today that, because the friends were giddy on the drive from New Jersey to Florida, or to Georgia, that they knew all along where he was. And I'm like, that's not necessarily true. I've driven, 12 hours from here to California to go to a funeral, and I wasn't sad and crying, in a car full of people the whole time. We laughed and we had, jokes and good times while we were making the drive. So I don't think it's fair to make statements about them, saying that they knew where he was and they knew he wasn't missing the whole time, based on the fact that they were having a good time during their drive. But at the same time, I have to remember who they are and the multiple scams that they've been involved in. So, is it possible that this was all a ruse? They knew the entire time where Michael was? It's possible. And if it turns out to be true, I think Angela may have signed her final contract with TLC. Not to mention, she was talking about, she on the first live stream she did, it was like, I don't care if I break my NDA. This is against my, so she may have mouthed herself out of a job. Not to, and on the live stream you could hear Angie's daughter in the background, and I'm like, how is she allowed to be around children? She is a convicted pedo. So how is she allowed around children? Like, I'm not so sure she is allowed, actually. I was thinking about one more piece of this black wallpaper. And it's not even, it's not doubled like this one is. Like, where can I put it where it's not like right up on it? There we go. I'm like, why am I missing a page? Because I wasn't going far enough. Yeah, there's another couple. Mahmoud, I think is how you pronounce. She pronounces. Well, it's how she pronounced it all the time. And Nicole, and he was arrested, I believe, on domestic violence charges. He assaulted her in plain view. I'm not sure if they're in the United States at this point or if they're still in his country. He is Egyptian, I believe. It's been a minute since I've seen any of their storyline. I just kind of caught it on the news feeds, the blog feeds. So there's that going on there. I mean, there's just, it's crazy. Like, reality TV has lost its mind. Not that it really had a mind to lose, but man. Okay, this again, the only reason I'm cutting it is because it's got chunks of it missing. I had a piece up there that was. I'm like, oh, I need another glue page. Go this way. That's just putting that torn edge, over the top of stuff, just to give it a little something there. More pieces of rock salt. Have you guys noticed yet that I have 2 different glue sticks going? Get one there and one there. There's a third couple that's Jasmine and Gino. Apparently, I've already filed for divorce. Surprise, surprise. Not really. Again, it's that long game. And anybody that didn't see that long game going was blind. in my honest opinion. The glue stick is almost empty. That one, anyway. And this paper is tearing it up something fierce because it's got chunks of rock salt and stuff on it. You saw that, right? Good. Another piece of that. Okay, that's toast. Let's throw that away so I stop grabbing it. I'll move this over here because I tend to glue with my left. This is another page from the gessoed book. Across there. Yes, I covered up most of that yellow, and I may actually come up and cover it all together. We shall see. It's an envelope piece left over from Marguerite Miller's collage from earlier. You know what I mean? For the sake of having something a little something, this side of the page is blank. This is coffee dyed paper. I had some misprints and miscopies at work one day. And so I just took everything that my printer spit out in some weird fashion and just copy dyed it all. Coffee dyed it. In fact, a lot of my dyed paper that I have here right now is from that. I was having, I don't know, probably 6 months, was having printer problems at work, and it would just do the weirdest things and like print out, like for months it was printing out like without warning. My printer would just like whoop, and it would wake up and it would print out a page that was like P32 or something like that. I don't remember what it was now, but it would print out like 30 copies of it and just boom, boom, and I could, the only way that I could get it to stop printing was to turn my printer off. And it was a company printer, so they didn't really like us to do that. And so it would just like spit out. And I'm like, you've got to do something, because if I can't turn this off to stop the printing, I mean, we're wasting so much paper. I mean, I was going through like a ream of paper every 2 or 3 days just with my printer doing stuff like that and misprinting and, not pulling papers straight. So then it would, and it was just, I'm like, you got to do something. And they came in, and of course they're like, oh, well, we'll just give you a new printer. And I'm like, okay, man, I don't think that's the problem. And as it turns out, it wasn't. It was a communication disagreement between my my laptop, my computer, my work computer, and the printer software. So if they'd have replaced it with a completely different printer, like a different model or whatever, it probably would have fixed the problem. But they replaced it with the exact same model that they took out. So all of my driver software, everything was the same. And lo and behold, just days after my new printer, guess what? My printer starts spitting out. Like, I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you guys it wasn't going to work. But I'm not ITT savvy, so what do I know? This is getting really bumpy, so my glue is like having a hard time. Do I have any more pages out here to glue on? It doesn't look like it. Oh, I got one. Let's get some of this green onto here. Looking at the whole franchise, the whole 90-day franchise, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of controversy. Lots of people that have, well, people that shouldn't have even had a platform to begin with, but that did some pretty despicable things in their private lives that, I mean, how did the vetting process miss it? Like Jeffrey Paschal, for example. It's like, how did they miss his criminal background? Paul Staley, I think is how you pronounce his last name. Serious mental issues. I would think that, you would want your people to be mentally stable if they're going to be on your show and be representing you. But maybe TLC doesn't care. So I do have this tissue paper. I do want to use it up, but obviously it's clear. But then again, season after season after season after season after season of Angela abusing Michael, and yeah. They apparently just filmed the tell-all, and they're supposed to be on Happily Ever After. I don't know. I'm assuming that's already been filmed. But I'm like, really? But are they? Obviously not. I guess there's 2 couples already from the Happily Ever After that's coming up that are already, it's already hit social media that they're no longer together. I'm like, ugh. So I even have them on the show. You know, I don't know. It kind of boggles my mind, I guess. What's the point? My lungs are feeling a little better. Couple smashes of the good old inhaler. Before I started recording, seems to have helped. I want this. Let's get those glued down. Those little flappies. Let's see if I can tear this just a little tiny bit. Just so there's no straight edges on this one. Put it right there. Chelsea Bland helps prioritize LGBTQIA+ Black vocal voices at Local 2. What was I? 10? I think I was 10. Local 10. I don't remember. That was, over a year ago. Definitely asking a lot for me to remember at this point in the game. Oh, they're doing a death notification. My hat is always going to be off to police officers. That has got to be like the hardest thing in the world to have to do, to go and deliver a death notice. Especially in certain parts of the country, because you might be delivering the second, third, fourth, fifth death notice to the same mother. It makes me think of that scene in Saving Private Ryan, when they had to go try to find, if you haven't seen that movie, it's a good movie. It's a really, really good movie. In fact, I watched it in the theaters with my husband, and it was really kind of crazy because somebody had said, I was reading the reviews for the movie beforehand, and one of the reviews was that, it was so real that, they almost felt like checking for bullets at their feet. And I was like, oh, how real could it be? Real enough that you're almost checking for bullets at your feet as you're walking out of the theater. It was an intense, intense movie. So if you have not seen it, I highly recommend it. Really good movie. I'm looking for places where I need to cover. Just want to get some more purple in there. See, but it's too not white enough to go this way. I mean, I've got to cover all the way over to here, so I could go here, I guess. Sure, why not? But yeah, and the movie Saving Private Ryan, it was three brothers all joined the military to fight in the war, and the secretaries, the war secretaries, were, typing up the death notices to send home to the moms, and she noticed that she had two going to the same address, and so two of the brothers had were KIA, and so there was an executive decision made to go find the third brother and release him from his duties so that the mother did not lose all three of her children in the war, all three of her sons. And I'm like, oh. And of course, it's drama, it's movie, a whole saga of, trying to track him down, and the platoon that was sent out to find him, and really good movie. It's a really, really good movie. Excuse me. Okay. I got a music paper that can go down here. Just don't need it to be that tall. Trim it off there. You like that technique? Slam the glue stick into it and use it to pick it up. Not my technique. I learned it from watching other people on YouTube that I thoroughly enjoy. But it works. You just lift her up like that. Turn the page. Let's get some more brown. Oh, my blue is like not really getting done here, is it? That's the problem, though, when your glue page is gluey, is that you then try to lift up and everything sticks. You end up picking up all of it. All of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. Not wide enough, not long enough. Yep. And again, I see I'm getting lost in my head. And this is about getting rid of, using up your pieces. So stop trying to scrounge, salvage, save, hoard, whatever word you want to use, your pieces. Because I could absolutely hoard every piece, every little tiny itty bitty piece. Okay. We have this piece. Let's go across there. So I'm offsetting all the different pieces, trying to keep them from squaring up again. Just kind of I'm trying to unsquare them. And, I keep ending up squaring it all back up again. This is going to be a tough one. Very fragile piece of envelope that was coffee and ink stained. Let's see if I can get it off the page. And off my finger. Sorry if you guys heard the TV. It's not the nicest word. Wasn't a bad word. It just wasn't a nice word. It's kind of my, yeah. When you have to resort to calling people names to get your point across, you have already lost the fight. Done did lost the argument. And I hear that a lot on a lot of platforms. You're going along, you're having a discussion, you're having a back and forth, and then all of a sudden somebody's calling names, and I'm like, interesting. It's like people can't be out of grade school for too long. Okay, do I have any more blues? I have more purples over here. I'm going to trim this just because I've got torn pieces and straight pieces, and I don't want either necessarily. It's crazy to think. Yeah. Sitting and thinking about just the craziness that's gone down in the last, 24 hours between the just in the 90-day community. It's been insane. And that's kind of my realm. Find myself in a position defending people that I never thought in my world, ever thought in my life I would even remotely defend. Like, wow, okay. So again, just putting that tissue, it's waxed pattern paper, just to give it a little, just to give it, because why not? Funny, the wrinkle in this paper makes me think back to the conversation I was having with my husband earlier. We were talking about, like the old school stuff, all the things that, today's generation would not understand, like the old printing machines from school. where you had the carbon copy paper and it would run through the machine, and then you do your test that it's a purple ink. He always remembers what those things are called. I can never remember. But I operated one of those. I worked for my school district for several years while I was in high school. And I was in charge of typing those out and then printing them out on that little machine. But those are the things that today's generation really has no clue about, because it's like, oh, you're taking a test, it's on a computer. No, it's like really, you don't even have to you don't even have to have a number 2 pencil to take a test anymore. What kind of world is this? And and honestly, that's what it feels like, is like we're on it's a whole different planet. When I worked for my other school that I went to in high school, so it was 2 years at one high school and 2 years at another. When I was working at my other one, I worked in the, I don't know, I called it the publishing office. I don't remember what it was actually called. But I was in charge of making the copies and putting together the teacher's manuals and the student manuals every summer. So I learned how to use several different types of bookbinding machines. And I swear to some degree, I can still hear them in my sleep. It seems it's like, excuse me, something for down here. Wish I had something else in blue. Besides, this is the only thing I have in blue, and I don't want to, not have anything else in blue. So I guess put another. If I do that, it's going to give me just this little spot right here, and I'm going to need to put something right there. I'm just going to throw that out there. There's just a small tinge of pink on this. Not enough that I'm going to worry about it being on the blue page. But you'll see what I'm doing, how it just ties those in together. Over here to greens, which I don't think I have any more green other than these. And I don't want to put more on there. So we're going to set those. We're going to set those aside. like we'll be getting a 4th page. Oh, I like that page. This is going to be the back. I like the other side better. Which, happens. It happens. Something for right here. What I would like is some more of the brown music paper, or some more of this, which I don't have any of. There's not really anything that can go there. But wow, I really dwindled that pile down, which is awesome. Okay, I guess it's going to be this. I don't want it to be that close. Alrighty, fine. Would have liked something different right there, but that's okay. It's gonna do. On to page 4. This is just going to be a little bit of everything, whatever's left. Again, that avocado paper, nice strong, strong odor. Woo-wee. I'm going to put this down here. Nice big piece. My fingers are really gluey. I wonder why. Put that over there. We got this. Do we want it on the gray side, or do we want it on the word side? Let's do the word side. It has been so peaceful with I have to worry about random calls, random text messages, random IG messages. I don't know. I just wish people could figure out how to either not talk to each other or ignore each other or get along. It's frustrating. And it's hard to be a mid person because certain people make it impossible to be in the middle. Ugh. I'm very gluey. Plain white. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to throw that away. Whoops. Sorry. I could have put it in my sash to be stamped on. Didn't think about it till after I threw it away. So this is cardstock. This is paper. My pile is dwindling. Yay! All I have pretty much left are strips of stuff. This is an Edith Holden book page. Very thick paper. It borders on cardstock, if you were to ask me. I'm going to go this way. Love her writing, though. This is another Edith Holden book page. Kind of coming up a little bit just to overlap, to create an overlap, actually. Create an overlap where one didn't exist. It's like, oh yeah, that's not the original book. Yes, the strips. I don't think. Yeah, I'm not going to use the strips because I can use those to stamp on. You. You. I'm gonna have to get a baby wipe out. It's like, ugh, ugh. I mean, I'm not one of those. Ew, don't get dirty. I mean, obviously, I'm a dirty crafter, but you reach a point, usually, and I'm kind of there. I'm at the point where there's way too much glue on my fingers, and now it just feels gross. And it's not coming off. So, baby wipe. And I usually do cut them in half. Just make them last longer. Oops. Excuse me. Just to get some of this ucky glue off my hands. And I'm going to mute you for just a second. Ugh, that was yucky. Whatever is in my lungs is starting to break itself up, at least for this evening. That's cardstock. So, yeah, it's like, ugh. Lots of coughing going on over here. I have so much of this paper. I didn't intend to make that much crunchy paper. I just had a lot of envelopes that I was dyeing. And it's too close there. What was I saying? Maybe it'll come back to me. I lost my thought. Not hard to do. Not hard at all. Oh, I was doing envelopes. And they were really wet and they were taking a long time to dry. And so I stacked them and I put these sheets of paper in between the envelopes to help absorb some of the water or the liquid. And technically it was coffee. So it ended up, the paper soaked up a lot of it. And so I ended up with this whole stack of dyed envelopes and an equally high stack of little like 7x7 square papers. It just like popped out of nowhere. This little paper did not get glue on it. Random book page fell out of my garbage basket. Just kind of scanning, make sure there's no inappropriate words because this is the one about the Vietnam War. Need something right here. Right, start there. I couldn't imagine being in a police station and they're like, stop with the bull. Tell me what happened. It's like, you know what? If you're in the police station, they already know the answer. They already know the answer to the questions they're asking you. Looking for something just little to go right there. Or maybe I'll just do it and then some of the words can show through. think that's what I'll do. The words will just show through, and it's okay. Because if it was a book page, that I glued on, the words would show through. All right. Getting this peeled up is a different story. Let's get this glue page glued. This is driving me crazy. Pardon me. Okay, so glue this page. And again, you don't have to do this. I just do it so that way the pages are already glued, and just a little bit around the edges might be necessary when I go to use it. Also with glue stick, you can also use a spritz bottle and get that glue wet, and then, because it's glue stick. So let me show you what I have left. This is it, and it's all strips. So I could easily put these together in my I've got a bulldog clip over there for stamping on strips. But that's all I have left of that pile. And then I have, I'm finding scraps. I've created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more glue pages. Go figure. This is a never-ending thing. I know a lot of people have started just using the magazines that come in the mail because you're going to throw them away anyway. So they glue on those and then, fold and fold and fold until they can't fold anymore and then throw the page away. I've got a ton of books. I have a ton of books. But here are my collage pages. I have this one and this one. This one. That one. That was a lot of paper that was in that pile. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages left in this that I could do collage pages with. But, it thickens it up a little bit, but that's okay. And so say I need a blue tag. I can come in and just cut a little strip off of here and make tags. Journaling cards, pockets, whatever I need. But the important thing is, this is all I have left of that pile. And like I said, most of it is stripped, so I will just drop it into my strip bucket. It's not even a basket. It's not a bowl. From a bowl to a basket to a basket to a box. I really, really need to start using my paper strips. But yeah, so that was a fun little side project. Thanks for joining in with me. Hope you enjoyed my conversation, my craziness, and got yourself an idea of what to do with your magazines that come in your mail, as well as your scrap papers. So with that, if you can do all the YouTubey things, the like, subscribe, the ring the bell, and we will talk to you later. Bye.